Good morning, girls. In today's session, we are going to discuss some more parameters that we can define in HTML, and we can access the value of that parameters in J2EE through session ID and with the help of servlets. Right? So, how to define it? For that, we need to open our NetBeans window. So here it is, you can see, and I have already developed that program. Now all of you are very well aware of how to create a new project, right? So it is no need to show you again and again. Just create one project. I have given a name to this project, prg_10, and created one index.html page under the directory webinf, right? How to create index.html? Very easy. Right click on webinf, click on new and select HTML. Give an appropriate name. Here we will give a name to our HTML file, index.html. As you know that index.html file always executes first. This become our welcome file by default. No need to set the default file if we give a name index.html to our HTML file. Now close this window. Now what should we write in index.html? Here I want to set one checkbox in my HTML page, right? So first of all, create an HTML tag which contains head, title and body tag. Now our main task, main coding will come in between body tag. Here take one more tag, form tag, set the action, fetch parameter, right? We'll set the action, fetch parameter. This is a name of servlet. Then method is get. Here I set the method type get, and I took 3 checkboxes with same name H, right? Here I want to display my hobbies. I want to show the checkbox for hobbies. I took 3 checkboxes on a single HTML page. The name for this checkbox are same because we want to keep all these checkboxes in a single group, right? Under the title hobby. So give the caption music, dance and reading. These are the caption, or we can say label for this checkboxes, right? Values set for this checkboxes respectively music, dance and read for hobby music, dance and reading. Notice the name property. The name defined for all the checkboxes is H, right? One more tag I want to take on the same page. Here I want to put one radio button on my page, right? For that, what we have to take? Input type equals to radio. Here I want to display the gender on my HTML page. So for that I took a radio button, right? You have already studied how to create a radio button in HTML page in your first semester, even in third semester in HTML subject and PHP subject, right? So here I kept 2 radio buttons, but I want to group these 2 buttons in a single frame. That's why the name defined for this radio button is R. Both radio buttons have the same name R. Value for these radio buttons are different. For the first radio button, the value is male, and for the second radio button, the value is female. Specify the caption for both the radio buttons, right? One more control I want on my HTML page, that is submit button. When we click on the submit button, I want to execute the servlet with name fetch parameter, right? So here we have set the action fetch parameter, method is get. So this is the coding of HTML page index.html, right? Let us switch to our servlet, which is declared, which is defined under the source packages directory. How you can create a servlet? Very easy. Right click on source packages, click on new and select servlet. Here set the properties for your newly created servlet. First of all, we'll define a class name for our servlet, right? Fetch parameter, as I already created the servlet with the same name, it is showing me an error at the bottom line. You can see the error, the file fetch parameter.java is already exist, so change the name. Here I am giving fetch parameter 1, click on next. This will ask you for the setting of servlet deployment descriptor file, right? Don't forget to click this checkbox for adding an information in your web.xml file. Now you can set the servlet name. If you want to change this name, you can, otherwise leave it as it is. Set the URL pattern for your servlet, right? You can keep the same name as it is. Click on finish. Now, as I told you that I have already created the servlet with the same name fetch parameter.java. So here I am closing the window. Here you can see the default coding on the screen, right? Now import some important packages. First one is java.io is required. The second package required for our program is javax.servlet, right? And the third one is javax.servlet.http.star. We'll import all these three packages in our current servlet. Define one public class with name fetch parameter which extends HTTP servlet. This line you will get automatically, right? Here you can see the process request is also there. It has two parameters of type request and response. First one is HTTP servlet request. The object of this class is request, and the object of HTTP servlet response class is defined as response. Now set the content type text-HTML. Create one object of print writer class with name OUT, as we have done in previous programs, right? Now this portion will create an HTML output. We want to send all this code back to our browser, right? We want to set the title servlet fetch parameter. Now I want to access all the parameters defined in HTML file. So how we can get that parameters over here? With the help of request object and the method get parameter values. With the help of this two, we can get all the values of radio button as well as checkbox in our servlet. If you remember, we have defined one checkbox group with name H. Here it is, right? We want to fetch the values of checkboxes. Which checkboxes marked or which one is deselected, we can fetch that values in our servlet through get parameter values method, right? For that we have to specify the name of parameter in pair of parentheses. As you can see here, I have used the H. I have set a parameter H over here, right, to get all the values of checkbox. This method will return all the values in this variable of type string, right? Here we have defined one variable of type string, not a single variable. This is an array, as you can see the square bracket over here. So hobby is declared as an array of type string, right? This will store all the values of all checkboxes, which is defined as H. Now you can find the length of this checkbox through the method length, hobby.length. This will find the length of your checkbox, right? Now what we will do, we want to print the selected hobby on the next screen. So we'll iterate the loop through the for statement. We'll start our loop from 0. For that, define one variable of type integer, right? I equals to 0. Here I have defined one variable and initialize with 0. I want to iterate this loop 3 times. Why 3 times? Here you can see there are 3 checkboxes defined in my HTML file, right? 1, 2 and 3. The length of this checkbox will get through hobby.length. So this will control our for loop, right? How many times you want to iterate through this for loop, that will be controlled by this value, right? So here I have given one condition, I is less than hobby.length. Because it is initialized with 0, this will iterate only 3 times for the value 0, 1 and 2. Okay, next value is I++. To do the increment of value I, right? Every time we will print hobby HBY. This is an array, and as an index we will pass the value of I, right? So let us see, execute this program and let us see the output. How we can execute this program? By right clicking on our main project folder, click on run. This will start your Glassfish server. As you can see, the output window is started and here Glassfish server is also started, right? The project is running. The project is running. You can see the progress bar at the bottom line. Here our project is running and index.html, as I told you that index.html file automatically start running whenever you start your program. Now choose check boxes as per your wish. Here I am selecting first 2 check boxes and click on submit button. This will redirect on the next page, that is fetch parameter servlet. Here you can see the length we get is 2, and you have selected music and you have selected dance. We got these two values, and you have selected null. Why this is showing? Let us go back to our coding portion. Now you can observe this line. Comment this line number 36, and run your project one more time. One more time, select your hobbies, right, and click. Here you can see that the last line you have selected null is disappeared. You can compare both the results. See, both are open in our browser, right? Here you can see you have selected null, it is showing, and second time you can see that the line is disappeared. Why is it so? Because we commented this line which was producing this output, which was producing that output, right? Now here you can see request.get parameter r. That means we are getting all the values of r. R is our radio button, which is defined in index.html, right? The name given to radio button is r. If you want to fetch the value of this radio button in your servlet, for that you have to use get parameter method and pass the name of radio button as a parameter, as an argument to this method, right? So here what we have done, we have passed the name of control whose value we want to get over here. Request.get parameter r will get the value of radio button, right? One more time, let us execute the same program by right clicking on our main project folder. Now select hobby as well as gender type, right, and click on submit button. Here you can see the result. The length of hobby is 1, and we have selected music, and the second line is showing the selection of radio button. You have selected male, right? So how you can manage all the controls? Now all of you come to know that in first two programs we had deal with text boxes and password box, right? In our current program we dealt with checkbox and radio button. Now for the practice purpose, you create your own form, and in a single form you add your text box, password box, address field as well as checkbox and radio button, and create your own servlet to get all the values in a single page. In journals you have to note down the same program as I have shown you, right, through this practical. Now what about web XML file? So there is no need to note down this file every time. Once you come to know that how to create your web XML file, it is not required to note down this file every time in your journals, right? In the next session we will do one more program related to request and response parameters. Till then, thank you.